going on, y'all? It's your boy WiscoReaction coming at ya with another reaction video. If you guys haven't already, please be sure to smash that like button down below, hit that sub, and flip them notifications over to all. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been wearing this shirt quite often. No, it's not one of mine. I just want to promo Ambro a little bit here and say that I will try to remember to throw the link to her shirt down in the description below. It just says I did not have sexual relations with that lesbian. It's an inside joke from one of her lives, referencing Bill Clinton's, whole thing that he got in trouble for. Anyway. So we checking out some Upchurch vlogs here today. We got the Emerald Tablets 1 of 3 video. Jumping into some more Emerald Tablet stuff. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump up in it.
Alright, listen and look at what I'm saying. I'm about to give you the best explanation on YouTube for the Emerald Tablets. I'm about to give you the most logical, realistic way of consuming it so you understand it the best way that you can. But before we go any further, I want to say this. After this video's over, go look at the comment section. But remember this, the comment you choose to type is the true reflection of yourself and nobody else, except for you. In today's age, nobody thinks about a reflective side of anything, not even their self, because some people's reflective side of their brain is not firing equally with the other side. And why is that? Nothing besides you've been told otherwise. That's it. Look, you got all this stuff on YouTube and stuff, people been like, oh yeah, I'm a left brain person or a right brain person. That's because they were told that.
Yeah, that's some retarded shit. Left brain, right brain. I mean, it made people feel better because they want to be better than somebody else. Here's the real trick. It's not about being better than somebody else. Just be a little more open-minded.
You're taught that your right side is used for these list of things, and your left side is used for these list of things. And look around. A lot of people don't see it. Not even when the reflection of their self is in their very hands that they blind themselves with. No, I'm being serious. Look at your hands. Put them together. What is that? That's two mirroring objects. You have a 7,
more or less,
and a line over it. And over here, you got a backward 7 with a line over it. Stick those things together. That is a mirroring image of yourself. It's the best way.
Sir, I ain't got no 7. But I see what you're saying, like the creases and shit, like how you can do the palm reading and all that kind of shit. Mine's not quite a 7, though.
I can figuratively show you this with your own hands that you choose to blind yourself with. Now, what I'm realizing is,
I guess
you
you have a
can't
7 there.
talk about too much.
Never mind, I found the 7. It's on the other side of the crease that I was looking at, dumbass. Actually, I got a 77.
In the same video. Otherwise, it like heats your brain up to the point where you can't understand it and you don't want to understand it. So too much of somebody else's information through your eyeballs and into your brain is chaos, because it's not your information and it's not your brain. The same way a car battery works, you have to have energy going in it and also energy coming out of it. If you have energy and energy on both sides, the battery will explode. If there's negative on one side and negative on the other side and it's grounded, it's gonna suck all the juice out and it's gonna be a dead cell battery. And you'll have to go get a whole new battery because that one will not charge anymore. Now look, I'm gonna show you and
bruh, either he's over here fucking with people or I'm just ADD as fuck and it keeps on going black and white on me. And I know y'all can see it in this video. I wonder if they did it for y'all when you were watching his video.
Everyone watching how this works by using mechanics. Now, there's been a lot of people lately being like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong? You ain't no country boy no more. You ain't no redneck no more. Well, after I...
Does redneck have to equal stupid or what? Like, you can be a redneck and not see shit the same way everybody else does.
Explain these mechanics. You go to a redneck backyard.
Quite literally, his name used to be Upchurch the Redneck. Y'all don't forget that one.
Mechanic and ask him if he understands this diagram, and he's going to tell you yes. Now, I'm not sure, and I am sure at the same time, on why some people think the image of a redneck or a hillbilly or a country person is supposed to be some babbling idiot who drinks alcohol all the time. But
I mean, I guess, if anything, that refers more to hillbilly in my mind, but hillbilly's not necessarily bad either. Hillbilly's just more of the moonshiner idea. Like, a lot of, like, when you watch the show Moonshiners, even though I'm pretty sure that's all scripted. Based on, Discovery Channel shows are generally scripted, even though I love watching them. But anyway, like, Josh, the moonshiner Josh, if anybody knows who that is, that would be kind of something, the image you got, at least that comes to my mind, as hillbilly. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I fucking love Josh.
it's not the case. So anyway, here we go. All right, so think of your brain as a battery. And when you're at peace with yourself, the current is running back and forth in a racetrack pattern, keeping your brain charged and keeping your life good. Now, how could I alter your battery to change the look on your face? Well, I'd have to make you believe that, hey man, your current's wrong, man. But someone who knows their current and they're like, no, it's right, they don't talk to that person no more. They cut the current off because they were like, man, that vibe didn't feel right. It made your current uneven. Your brain
Okay, never mind. He's fucking with us. He's doing that shit to accent shit.
battery, it made it have too much juice or it was sucking too much out, and they were like, nah, I'm good on that, goodbye. And their battery or brain went back to the same racetrack pattern. Okay, so in theory, this person by themselves is fine because they have self-centered their energy to where they know it's good for them. This guy right here, who is manipulating.
That was something, like, I know a lot of people have a problem with him, like, saying being self-centered is good, but, like, if you try to be open-minded and understand what he is saying, I'm not thinking he's saying exactly what y'all are jumping to, right? It's not necessarily being, like, selfish, like, oh, selfish towards others and everything else. You got to keep yourself straight, yourself centered, even if you want to help other people. Which, dude, if you've been watching church long enough, you know he helps people. So it's not self-centered in the form of selfish. He's just being smart about, not fucking himself up.
This understanding, not for himself, otherwise he'd be like this guy. He's manipulating it for other people to alter himself being the manipulator. How do you do that? This is, well, you find another person that's not as well-rounded as this guy up here. This one can be
Dude, this is great imagery for, like, if you've ever said something like, this person's draining my energy, or this group of people is draining my energy, hanging around these people is just draining. That imagery right there, dude. It's perfect. It's perfect. Like, being around manipulators, being around people that, like, try to gaslight you and make you think you're crazy and all that kind of shit, it fucking drains the life out of you. The energy out of you.
manipulated. So this guy's positive and negative hooks to this positive and negative. Him being the manipulator and knowing about this person right here does not know about evening themselves out. So he's easily manipulated. So they hook to this person and make it a current, right? Because one other person can't manipulate this guy, but two people, this guy manipulating him to think what he thinks. And then what do you do after that? How do you link it to the outside world? Now this is true even current right here. One person figuring out this symbol right here. The racetrack pattern. They all talked about it on the UAP thing.
Infinity.
We'll get to that in a minute. This person has made a different form of current.
You notice in these videos, like, he seems to be, and I'm sure there's a reason for it, but, like, he's talking about racetrack pattern and everything else. Like, he seems to be blatantly ignoring the fact that that's called the infinity symbol. I would imagine there's a reason for that, because I know he knows what that is. Like, how could he not?
Right? So it appears to look the same as this one. So it appears to look the same as this one, but it's not the same. But if two people are saying, no, this is also the same thing, well then the outside world starts to maybe believe that they are the same, even though they're not. There's a reason I got these two arrows right here. Because just like the batteries, this guy, he does understand this. This guy
I noticed you wired them in series, too, instead of parallel.
does not understand this. So, too much positive in a person makes him what? Look crazy, look deranged. He is deranged. He just knows the evenness to figure out how you don't see him. Then, how to let some of this energy out, so he is the positive that knows way too much positive, right? Which has become a bad thing right now in our time. This guy, who has a negative and a positive, unknowingly has become the negative. Now, if he's using his positive reason, now if this is his understanding of it, and this is his use of it, well, a battery doesn't have two positives and one negative, does it? No. So if this is the room that they figured this out in, for the outside world to be influenced by it, well, to make this current right here work, you have to have what? An alternator. Here's the alternator to the outside world. You hook this to this. You ground it to make it look real. Then you go through here, connect it to this alternator, and then to have positive, you also have to have a negative, right? Here is the part that gets controlled. So positive or negative can get out of this alternator now that is now hooked into everyone's brains, making this corrupt and start to be question marks.
So the alternator is the phone or TV, I assume? I could be wrong.
That's not good.
That's
All right, so I have been saying some things that don't make sense to a lot of people. It does make sense to some people. So some people are already working on their batteries and are aware of their battery or brain's function. So they are more open to what other people are saying, but they're also better at filtering out the bullshit. They have a screen almost of understanding that protects them from putting stuff inside their brain that doesn't serve them a purpose for their well-being. Now think about the lingo or the language they were talking in this UAP/UFO congressional hearing that everyone watched. Do you understand what they're saying? Well, you probably watched it. A lot of people probably watched it and was like, I don't really get why talking about UFOs and aliens is this difficult. Maybe they're not talking about what you think is an alien or an extraterrestrial. See, there's this big gray area. This is what the world looks like, and this is what's happening right now. Look, you have the biggest portion of all of us on this earth is in this gray area. This is where all the question marks and the confusion is. That's why society looks like it does right now. There are two sides, good and evil, or positive and negative, just like the battery. They are both the smallest sides of everything. The biggest portion is the unknowing. We are in a, we'll say equation. We're in an equation of good and bad. This is everyone in here in the gray area. Depending on which words get said and what you end up finding out for yourself inside here, depends on if you go to the good side or if you go to the bad side. Right now, the numbers are not near even. To stay positive in your life, you have to have negative things happen. But it does not need to come from another human running an alternator to make you feel negative or positive. That's why a long time ago, back in the day, when some kid's dog died, they cried about it and were devastated. That was the negative in them to make them get charged up and be stronger. Now, you give a kid a dog, it get hit by a car, they don't even know for a week. They're like, fuck it, who cares? I didn't even play with that dog anyways. That's the issue. That's why everyone's in this gray area. People that are stuck in this gray area are not self-centered. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the center. They would be on the good side, making it even again. And when I say self-centered, I mean actually centered with their self, even. So if this is a ball and I'm holding the ball, and here's a table that has 5 pounds and 5 pounds, it's gonna stay even. If I take this ball and move it too far this way or too far this way, what's it gonna look like? If I move the ball way over here, this one will be tilted a little, and this one will probably flop over and fall off the whole spectrum. Because it's not centered. Now, this very, very, very old understanding of things is everywhere you look. But listen and look, it's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It is just a thing. But this thing is uneven, and we have to make it even again. Here is an illustration to show you it has been around for longer than you know. Longer than anyone on the entire planet knows. Why do you think our government's talking about aliens and extraterrestrials? Because they know what's going on. They're not out to get you. Right now, they're out to figure out whose ideology this was thousands of years ago, because they're just now seeing in real time that there was this ideology that someone took for themselves to manipulate the entire world. Whoever that person is now deceased, but the teaching and the word of what they did is still in today's society, and it will forever be in society if we don't figure it out. And now it's gone on so long in the same negative direction that the table is now uneven for the wrong side. Which is why you're seeing the things you're seeing out in public, on the internet. People are driving worse. People don't understand stuff to a level where the other person's like, bro, what the fuck? And vice versa. Why do you think they can't come out and tell you about UFOs? Because you won't understand it. That's why everyone's been waiting around for so damn long for someone to tell us something about UFOs that's new. There is nothing new. But if they told you the truth, which is actually a really good thing for all of humanity, still, it wouldn't be received well because it's not what you have been programmed to want to know. They're going to tell you something you don't want to know that's good for you, and you'd be mad about it because it's an ideology that was passed down through teachings over a very, very long time. And here's how you know. If the government tells you everything at one time, your brain is going to shit itself, and it's going to be chaos.
I mean, not really. Not in my case. For a lot of people that are like easily shocked and everything, sure. But at this point in my life, it's one of those things where there's not a whole lot they can fucking tell me that'll be like, oh my god! But, I mean, it's probably just when you go through a bunch of shit in your life, you just roll with it. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, I'm like, oh, the fucking sky's falling. Well, that's new, but I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It's... Like, I think it's funny how it's starting to become popular that people hate the government. It's like, you know they've always been working against us, right?
They leave hints. Now, I'm allowed to tell you what I'm telling you. But some folks will be like, oh man, black SUVs, you gonna pull up? No, the internet is compartmentalized, so that doesn't happen. One person can't put out a video and the whole entire world see it. Just a certain amount of people. So it changes this compartmentalized spot to add to the blockchain of everything else.
I was gonna say, you think what's he get on these kind of videos, like 100,000, something like that? Yeah, 71,000 people that have actually watched this video. Yeah, obviously he's got 3.17 million, but 70,000 people, you think that's gonna be enough for a fucking black SUV to show up? Like, those, all 70,000, including myself, would have to start some sort of uproar over the shit that he's saying. And that's just not gonna happen. Like, I'm watching this, and if I think this is nothing new, the chances are there's a good chunk of the 70,000 that will be of the same conclusion. So why would there be an uproar? You know what I mean? Which means, why would the black SUV show up?
I'm going to show you this diagram, and I'm going to take it from you driving your car this morning all the way back to the beginning of time with just 3 circles. This is an example of the hints they've been leaving your brain and your eyeballs for a long time for you to be able to ease into this understanding so it is not chaos. 3 circles. You have pi, which is a circle and a line leading out. This is pi with a line all the way through it, which is an equator, equal. And then this is you being centered in the middle of yourself to make it even again, so no one ever goes back out and makes it uneven again for all of us. Now, how did this happen? Somebody wanted to play God, and they were not God. Somebody wanted to be a bi-variable to the variables that were already there. Somebody created a Bible for the universe you live in. So you wouldn't read the scripture that was already there. You'd read the second scripture full of bi-variables to make both parts of your battery fucked up so you'd never figure this out. Which is why current time is very non-current. So when you get up every morning and you take off and you got your wheels turning, you're going somewhere outside of the circle you're usually in, right? All right. When you go on a journey, you gotta get on the road. Well, those 3 symbols that I just told you about that are older than cars, older than driving, and everything are the stoplights you see every day. Go. Someone went, and this is how this happened. When it's equal, you are cautious of when you need to go and when you need to stop. Stopping to realize what's going on is purity of understanding of self and being centered. Sometimes you gotta stop and think and caution before you go. If not, you'll wreck and hurt yourself. Now look at everybody who's wrecking and hurting themselves. And hurting the people who are stopped at the light and know when to go. That's the problem. This is just the first video. And by the way, I know there's gonna be some people where it's gonna be like, well, that wasn't about the emerald tablets. Yes it was. That's why there ain't no emerald tablets nowhere. That's why every story about the emerald tablets is a unknown understanding that someone received out of nowhere. And they said, what? There's no reason to write the emerald tablets. Well, if someone sent you the knowledge about these emerald tablets, why would you write it anywhere if the reason the emerald tablet theory is a thing is because people have rewritten stuff for you. So you have to know a book that is not written. It's already in you. It's the only book that does not have to be remembered for you to know every word of it. And also, nobody has any good information about it because, like I said, it's not a book. You can go read and learn this stuff. It's something that happens to you that's given to you as a gift from somewhere that our brains don't know about. Want to see this picture I painted?
Hang on, I didn't look at the picture. Gotta go back.
Something that happens to you that's given to you as a gift from somewhere that our brains don't know about. Want to see this picture I painted?
Oh. Except that kind of looks like a sperm cell instead of a UFO crashing. But, you know. That's my dirty ass mind. Or a shooting star of some sort. I don't know. Either way, cool picture. But, yeah, doesn't. Yeah, I got a dirty mind. My bad, guys. I love these fucking videos, dude. I love when he digs into the emerald tablets. I love when he talks about all this kind of like shit, because that is what the government believes, is your brain would shit itself if they told you any truths. But here's the other thing. They're hiding shit from you because they don't want you to fucking know. Plain and simple. They just use the other excuses. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. If we knew 100th of the shit they were hiding from us, we would have rebelled a long time ago. A lot of us would die, but I mean, all it took is a measly little election that literally has no effect on how the United States runs whatsoever, because they're all working hand in hand. I mean, anybody who's ever been in office, and I question a little bit with Trump, but maybe he isn't part of it, but the chances are that anybody who's in office, because the party system doesn't fucking matter, they all work together. I don't know how many of y'all have seen actual works of Congress and shit like that, like when they have a session and it ends and the cameras get shut off. All those people are buddy. All those people are friends. And the only people who actually affect how the country runs is not the president. He has an effect, but that's not the most powerful person or the most powerful entity. That's the figurehead. The most powerful entity in the United States is Congress, the Senate, the House. Those are the people fucking this country up. And I'm not saying that makes Biden innocent. I'm just saying the figureheads are not the ones to blame. There's a bigger issue. Yeah, they're all working together, guys. Not that that should be mind-blowing to you. You should be open-minded enough to know that, but just saying. Y'all like this reaction video, go ahead and smash that like button down below. Thank you guys for commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And I forgot the little graphic, so there you go. Yeah, I do this while I'm recording. I use an OBS and shit. But anyway, make sure you guys check out Church's page down in the description below. And I really do appreciate y'all being here. Look forward to doing more of these and seeing y'all some more. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.